Pearl's father is actually the whale we see in the Jailbreak episode in Season 9. But he's actually in there for killing his wife, aka Pearl's mother, after he tried to flee from the scene. Before getting arrested, Mr. Krabs stumbled across the crime scene and the carcass of the mother whale and baby Pearl left all on her own. But here's the disturbing part. When a whale dies, its carcass can fuel an entire ecosystem. And so Mr. Krabs, overcome with excitement and greed, sees this as an opportunity to make a lot of money and comes up with the idea of the Krusty Krab restaurant.
I love this.
All right, I'm gonna stop.
I love this so much. I don't think that's true, but I wish it was true.
You know, as long as people have been making children's media, there have been attempts to link that media to darker themes. I'd be willing to bet that even in prehistoric times, there was a particularly edgy cave child saying something like, "You know, painting of woolly mammoth hunt on cave wall actually all take place in caveman head, right?" And from what I can see, motivations range from religious fervor to just a desire to be seen as a more mature 9-year-old who can cut his own chicken fried steak at Bennigan's. But either way, these fan theories abound and people eat them up. Before the turn of this century, these theories were primarily passed on by the kid whose house you weren't allowed to go to because he kept bringing a Limp Bizkit lighter to church. But now, with the advent of the internet, these theories have hit the mainstream. In fact, there are entire channels on TikTok just devoted to dark fan theories about kids' TV shows. And each one gets more and more twisted and harder to corroborate. And here on YouTube, we deal in facts. Cold, hard, advertiser-friendly facts. But as a mere YouTuber, I'm not authorized to separate fact from fiction or even fiction from fiction about the aforementioned fiction. So I decided to enlist an expert. A couple of years ago, I had a chance to help write a song for one of Dan Povenmire's shows, Hamster and Gretel, now streaming on Disney+. And if you didn't know, Dan Povenmire is one of the creators of Phineas and Ferb, but even before that, he was writing and animating for Family Guy, SpongeBob, and countless other animated shows that you've definitely seen. So with all that experience under his belt, I knew he was the one man who could help me untwist my mind and really understand these things.
Hi, I'm here with me, Dan Povenmire, co-creator of Phineas and Ferb, and Milo Murphy's Law, and creator of Hamster and Gretel, and like writer and director on SpongeBob, and director on Family Guy, and I've done a lot of things.
Dude, you're making my job so much easier. Thanks, Dan. So, okay, in that time, I'm sure we talked a little bit about it before. In that time, I'm sure you've heard these creepy fan theories.
Yes,
before.
I've heard lots of increasingly bizarre and disturbing fan theories about how things work in this little universe that's in my head.
Do you think they've gotten weirder over the years?
Some of them get sometimes there'll be one that goes out that's pretty dark, and then somebody will put a darker twist on it, and then a darker twist on it. I'm like, really? That wasn't,
It's an art form.
It's an art form. It's an art form. Let's come up with something that's so disturbing that people will have to share it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's all for clout.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say, why do you think people are drawn to that?
I think that's what it is. I think they were like, like if I put something out there and it starts becoming a thing.
It's like just like when kids are just trying to shock each other, like back and forth, say the craziest thing.
Yes.
Just to get a rise out of people.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. All right, so what I want you to do is I'm going to show you some.
Okay.
I found this TikTok account that does all basically like creepypasta, creepy fan theories.
Okay.
Some of them involving your shows, some of them not.
Okay, let's take a look.
And I want to play a few of them for you.
I like the one image you have here from this.
Yeah, it's all AI, which I don't condone, and so this is what they're doing.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes.
I didn't make any of these.
Yes.
This SpongeBob conspiracy theory is so dark, it will change the way you look at SpongeBob forever.
Real quick, are you ready to have the way you look at SpongeBob change forever?
I don't know. Maybe I should leave. Go ahead.
This is the drama we're starting out with.
Yes.
Pearl's father is actually the whale we see in the Jailbreak episode in Season 9. But he's actually in there for killing his wife, aka Pearl's mother, after he tried to flee from the scene. Before getting arrested, Mr. Krabs stumbled across the crime scene and the carcass of the mother whale and baby Pearl left all on her own. But here's the disturbing part. When a whale dies, its carcass can fuel an entire ecosystem. And so Mr. Krabs, overcome with excitement and greed, sees this as an opportunity to make a lot of money and comes up with the idea of the Krusty Krab restaurant.
I love this.
All right, I'm gonna stop.
I love this so much. I don't think that's true, but I wish it was true. That is not what Steve told us. You know.
But I think Steve was a marine biology guy.
He was
right?
a marine
so
biologist.
he would understand the ecosystem.
He would understand.
Right?
He would probably think this was really funny, but that is not. That's not how it happened.
Okay,
at all.
so we don't think that's how it
Yes.
happened. Now,
No.
creepy factor. Where would you put this on a scale of 1 to 10? From what you've heard?
So like all of Bikini Bottom is living off of the carcass of
Pearl's
Pearl's
mom.
dad.
Yeah.
And why is Pearl's dad or Pearl's mom so much bigger than Pearl? Because Pearl's only, like in their world, Pearl's only a little bit bigger than a sponge. So
That's true.
You couldn't live off like.
That's a species of whale I wasn't aware of. The
yes,
ones that get about
that
this
are only
big.
like a sponge is about this big, so the whale is about that big. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
trauma can affect growth. So
Yes.
if bad things are happening, who knows? Who
I
knows?
guess maybe her growth was stunted by the trauma of Mr. Crab making Krabby Patties out of her dead mom's carcass.
Garfield is actually homeless, dying of thirst and starvation, and hallucinating John and Odie. In 1989, a series of unsettling comic strips were released to the public before the show first aired. In these strips, Garfield wakes up to find his house empty and abandoned. No John, no Odie, and no food. The theory is John actually went bankrupt due to Garfield's excessive food purchases. And as an attempt to get his life back on track, John ran away with his easygoing dog, Odie, leaving Garfield behind to fend for himself. Eventually, Garfield was kicked out of the property and was forced to live on the streets as a stray, unable to maintain his expensive food habits. To cope with his loneliness and hunger, Garfield begins hallucinating John and Odie. This theory explains why Garfield often shows clear signs of jealousy towards his hallucination of Odie throughout the show, as seeing him is a constant reminder of John's abandonment.
Okay.
But what's
I
even
think
more
this is-
intriguing
I
about
think-
this theory is that it also explains Garfield's deep-seated hatred of Mondays.
I think that explains everything about Garfield.
I look, and the comics they're
That's-
talking about, the strips where they're
Yeah.
not there, those are real strips.
They're real
That's-
strips, but it's just like a dream he's having. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But which
So,
one's the
yes.
dream?
I
Dan?
don't know. I'm willing to dive into that. Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that one's like, we'll give that a plausible.
Yes,
We'll give that a
yes.
possible.
That's very similar to one they have about Candace somewhere.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to.
somewhere
I think we'll get to that
yes.
one. Well,
I don't know. I don't like those. Like the whole strip is in a. It's like the Saint Elsewhere thing.
yeah, it's a bit of a cop
Yeah,
out,
where,
right?
Like for those of you who don't remember this, there was a show called Saint Elsewhere. It was like ER or like
Yeah.
what's the big hospital dramas now? House or
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's
that
Anatomy. It
kind
was
of
like
thing.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, you realized that it was all inside the brain of a disabled person's
Yes.
child.
They were, like, looking at a-
disabled child.
Yeah, they were looking at a snow
in a
globe.
snow globe,
and just
and he was
envisioning.
just like the whole series took place in his mind, and everybody was like, "What?" That's
Everyone was
yes.
shocked because it was one of the first times they did it. I knew they did something like that in Dallas and a couple
Yeah,
other things as far as
yes.
mainstream shows go. But
Yes.
people were like, "What?" And then they were kind of like, "Why?"
Why?
though?
Why is that all these characters I've grown to know and love all existed in somebody's imagination? And it's like, well, you realize that was the case from the beginning,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You
it
just-
is all
You just don't want it to be in a fictional person's imagination. You want them to be real in the show creator's imagination.
It's where we
That's
draw
what
the
it-
line.
Yes, exactly.
It can only go one level deep. As far
Yes,
as, like,
exactly.
Inception,
Yes,
it can
yes,
only
it's
go
not-
one dream.
Yes, it's not like a dream within a dream within a dream, because then time stops working right. Yes. So, okay.
Also, another thing about this video that fascinates me is like, how many times do you think they typed "skinny Garfield" into chat or into like whatever
Skinny,
AI?
No, Skinny Garfield, where you can see his bones. That's what they probably had to like keep adjusting what they were asking
Skinny Garfield
for.
on the street, see his ribs.
Yes, exactly.
No Odie.
Yeah, there's a lot of typing you have to do to get that to work.
So much work.
Yes.
When you could have just learned to draw Skinny
Yes,
Garfield.
exactly. In the time it took you to type all those things, you could have probably drawn a Skinny Garfield.
Curious George is a test subject, and the man with the yellow hat is not his friend at all, but actually a scientist there to run tests on George to study his problem-solving skills and ability to adapt in a social environment. Ever wondered why, throughout the show, the man's distinctive attire is a yellow hat and suit? always dressed formally for no occasion at all, is it possible that the frequent use of yellow and the iconic hat serve as a psychological tool
first
to
of
maintain
all-
a level of influence over George?
Formally?
Yeah, I don't know
Formally,
if
a guy with just a yellow hat, a big yellow hat, and a ridiculous seersucker. That's formal.
yeah, you don't go to all of your black
With
tie
a
events.
giant yellow hat. No, I don't.
And subconsciously influencing him without him even knowing it. This theory could explain why throughout the show, George constantly mistakes the hat for a banana and is overly drawn to it in the majority.
For a banana.
For a what?
For a banana. That's how AI pronounces banana.
Banana.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna run that back for you real
For
quick.
a banana.
This is man.
Oh, so even the voices in this
Yes.
are AI.
It's
okay.
all AI.
This theory could explain why throughout the show, George constantly mistakes the hat for a banana and is overly
For a
drawn to it in
banana.
majority of the episodes. The man with the yellow hat can often be seen as sometimes making notes or commenting on George's behavior.
I
This
don't
could be
know
seen-
if I can trust someone making up a theory if they can't also properly pronounce banana.
Yeah, I think that puts the whole thing a little bit suspect.
That is not an authority figure I'm looking
All
to
right,
get.
but-
Honestly, I feel like the creepiest part of
But what do they do for this graphic?
Okay, yeah, okay, let's see.
A Curious George doll taped to a chair against his will. I think is what it said. All right.
Like that's gotta hold on.
could be collecting data on George's learning and problem-solving abilities, much like a scientist would. And what makes this theory even more interesting is the fact that the man's real name is never mentioned by a single character throughout the show, and he is always referred to as the man with the yellow hat.
The man with the yellow
This highlights
hat.
the fact that nobody really knows who this guy really is.
Well, it also highlights the fact that Curious George is an animal who doesn't know someone's name.
Yeah, like
It
names
just, like,
aren't
that's
really a
why-
thing in the animal
Yeah,
kingdom.
it's all from Curious George's point of view. So that's the reason we don't know his name. All right.
This is the one where I want you to tell me what impact you think this. I want you to tell me what impact you think this would have. So the conspiracy
Yeah,
theory is.
I did work on this show.
You did?
This is the first show I worked on.
Okay, like which edition? Like
the original one. back in the 80s.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
The original TMNT.
Yeah, that was like my first animation gig.
Okay, so tell me if this has any.
I wasn't writing on it; I was just drawing on
Okay,
it.
so tell me if this has any. So the conspiracy theory is first we got to have the music playing because it's obnoxious.
The Ninja Turtle Pete's obsession is
Oh no!
too
It's
fast.
scrolling. Okay, hold on.
It's
There we
scrolling.
go. All right.
Ninja Turtle Pizza obsession is a secret code. If you pay attention, each type of pizza they order is actually a signal for what villain they're about to face. Pepperoni for the Foot Clan, mushrooms for the aliens.
Was that a note you guys ever got?
No,
on TMNT?
not at all.
Hey,
I don't think that was the case.
this is a shredder one. You
I
gotta
also
get
don't
the.
know what version of the show they're looking at when they make this thing, or if this is even true, even a little bit.
I
but
can't-
I think it probably is not.
Yeah, I don't think. I think maybe someone saw one episode and they just had a different flavor of pizza than the last episode.
Yes.
And if so, who is the secret code for?
Yeah.
Are they
Why-
signaling
why-
to each other?
Why does that help anybody watching this show? That's silly.
That's the one
Okay.
that's it's A, not scary.
Right, and it's just a pointless. That's a pointless thing. Do I have to hit this one?
No, that is the entire theory.
That's the entire theory. What purpose does this theory serve? It's like, okay, sure, or maybe not. That's
yeah. There's no way to even debate this one.
It doesn't affect your enjoyment or the show's reality or anything.
It really breaks the theme of like, here's this dark thing that's gonna rock your world. It's like sometimes the pizza is different for different
Yes.
villains.
That's the weirdest. That doesn't even make sense as a creepypasta.
And then it
'cause
says
it's not-
mushrooms for aliens. There are
have they fought aliens?
I'm sure
remember
at
they've
some
done-
point they probably fought
they
an
must have,
alien,
yes.
but they don't even know a character to associate that with.
That's hilarious.
I think this one's pretty loose.
I love that one.
All right, let's see. I got one more, and then we'll get to one that you talked about earlier. Let me. Oh no, actually, this is one that I think
Is this
it's another
SpongeBob?
SpongeBob one.
Okay.
Prepare to have your childhood memories destroyed by this terrifying SpongeBob conspiracy theory that uncovers the dark truths behind our friends down in Bikini Bottom. The theory is SpongeBob SquarePants and the rest of the characters in the show actually represent the 7 deadly sins. SpongeBob represents lust. His obsessive passion for everything he does is intense.
Real quick.
First of all, SpongeBob
lust?
is prepubescent, so I don't think he represents lust.
They say
he's a
because
little kid.
They say because he has an intense passion for what he loves. I don't think that's love. I think that's very.
He may be a workaholic.
Yes,
but he's not lustful.
But
about
also,
anything.
I believe that as a sponge, he is canonically asexual because they reproduce asexually.
Yes.
So already we're off to my childhood is intact at this point, not wrecked, not destroyed.
I think none of these will really rock your childhood if you look at them with a grain of salt.
Whether it's his job, friends, or hobbies, Patrick represents sloth. Patrick is the epitome of laziness, always sleeping under his rock and avoids any form of work or effort. Squidward represents wrath, constantly angry and frustrated, especially with SpongeBob and Patrick. Mr. Krabs represents greed. Mr. Krabs has an uncontrollable hunger for money. He'll go to any lengths to make a profit.
Well, these are all archetypes of cartoon characters.
Yes.
Sandy represents pride. Sandy takes immense pride in her abilities and intelligence. Her arrogance and need to prove her superiority highlights immense pride. Plankton represents envy. Plankton is consumed by jealousy of Mr. Krabs' success. Gary represents gluttony. Gary has an excessive craving for food. His constantly hunger and love for eating highlights extreme gluttony.
That's okay. So they got about half of them might work.
Yeah, they've identified
they're
that
about 500 maybe.
They've identified that characters have flaws.
Yes, characters have traits.
I think you could do that with any cartoon.
Exactly. Yes, you pick a trait and say this is the main thing that defines this character.
And that's one that I saw a lot. Like while I was doing this research,
it was the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, it was like these are the 7 deadly sins, and it's just like those are just personality traits of characters.
Yes. And again, why does that? What does that affect your enjoyment of the show?
Yeah, it
it's
doesn't
like,
change the way I think of the show.
Like,
even if they
had said, okay, let's just take the 7 deadly sins and we'll do one character that represents each of these, but then make it fun.
Yeah, it's still a fun show.
I don't get the what's wrong with that. Okay.
All right, and
but
then
that is not how they were conceived.
Yeah, and then of course we have to get the Phineas and Ferb dark theory. Phineas and Ferb are simply a figment of Candace's imagination after not being able to handle Phineas's tragic childhood death and Ferb having disability.
Oh, yes, they're already dead.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
I've heard this one.
Okay. So, I think
Candace
this
creates
goes
a world in her head where Phineas and Ferb play together and create incredible things. This is why her mom never sees these things, and not because it's a coincidence, but because it's simply they're never existed on the first place. Doofenshmirtz is just Candace's psychologist, whom she sees twice a week. For some reason, they have exactly
it's definitely twice.
Try to get her back to normal. The last Phineas and Ferb episode includes the two brothers headed off to college, representing Candace's acceptance of that her younger brother's death. This is not the case, but this isn't even the darkest one of these.
I saw some darker ones, and I was like, those aren't even fun.
There's a darker one that says that Candace was real and schizophrenic because of her brother's passing, and then she wrote it all down in a diary and then offed herself.
Oh no!
And then her mom took the diary to Disney and said, "Can you make a fun kids cartoon out of the psychotic ramblings of my daughter who passed away?"
Daughter.
And then,
so Dan,
and then
what
apparently
did you...
in this world, Disney went, "Yes, of course, because all of our non-schizophrenic living writers are completely out of ideas." I don't understand where. This is gold. Russian. She's Russian in that
she's
one.
Russian in that
She's
theory.
Russian.
Wow,
yes.
And that really does make all the difference. Is that she's Russian.
It's just so ludicrous. And there's people who actually believe that. And it was like,
Dan,
have you thought how? I guess it's a complete lack of understanding how Hollywood works, because this is not how you pitch a show. So
Dan.
So don't repeat that.
Dan, I gotta be honest. That's
Yes.
exactly what someone who stole the ideas of a schizophrenic
would
girl from her
say,
mom would say.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's so silly. It's
my
so,
favorite
so
part
very
about
silly.
my second favorite part, other than the theory, is underneath. There's just a comment that says, "What about Perry?" As if that
Yes.
both A, rocks the world of the person writing it,
Right.
or changes anything in the universe.
Or like, okay, I'm prepared to believe this if you can come up with why she wrote about their pet platypus, which you're not even allowed to have as a pet.
I'm on
and
board.
Don't even exist in Russia.
Yeah. Well, that was what it is that Russians are always sneaking platypi into their country.
Into the country, it's so ludicrous and silly.
Well,
but okay, sure.
Dan, I'm glad we got the final word on some of
Yes.
those theories. Thank you so
Yes.
much for helping me out. I
That's
really appreciate
just not
it.
quite the way it worked. But I'm very disappointed that there's no creepy AI art for that one.
I know.
That's
I really did
just
look for it.
a block of text.
You've got the new season coming out, right? That will
We
inspire.
will, yes.
Yeah,
We
that
have
will
the new-
inspire more AI artists to rip off your artwork and make it their own.
Maybe we should do an episode about a Russian girl who hallucinates Phineas. I don't know.
Well, then you'll have to give this person, that person credit.
Yes. The other theory that we get a lot of online is that Doofenshmirtz is Phineas's dad.
Okay, I
Which
saw that
I
one.
actually think that's a fun theory. It's
Yeah.
also not true, but only because we made it impossible in the show.
Yeah.
Because, like people always point to this time that Doofenshmirtz and Linda went out on a date when they were younger.
Yeah.
That ended badly, and they're like, hey, they went out on a date, so maybe Phineas's dad, real biological dad, is Doofenshmirtz. But we made that impossible in the show because Phineas and Candace are full brother and sister.
Yeah.
And that date ends with Doofenshmirtz saying very definitively, and then I never saw her again.
Yeah.
They had one date.
And that's why you have
one
the episode
time.
in the new season where they do 23andMe and they double check everything, right?
We haven't done that yet, but I'm not putting it past us. But so Phineas Doof is not Phineas's dad, but I like that theory because they both have triangular heads.
Yeah, see
They're
that one
both
there's
very
actual
inventive.
connections to be made even if you look close.
I think it's a fun theory. It's not disturbing.
Yes.
It's not ruining anybody's enjoyment of the show to believe that, but it's just sadly not true. Sorry, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, for putting that to bed. I really appreciate it.
This was fun.
Bye.
Bye, Internet.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Dan, when someone says thank you, it's customary to say you're welcome, but I get it. You're a busy man. Tell you what, you've got 2 days to make this right. If you can't meet that deadline, then we're done. Thanks. Goodbye.